to order the regular meeting of the Woodland Park Planning Commission, May 9th, 2013. So, Sally?
Roll call. Thank you. Mr. DeVoe?
I'm here.
Mr. Watson?
Here.
Ms. Probst?
Here.
Ms. Mattingly? Mr. Rollinger?
Present.
Mr. Schrader?
Here.
And Mr. Vogel?
Here.
Mr. Chair, we do have a quorum this evening with 6 members here.
Shall we have the Pledge to Allegiance?
Please.
It's your turn to start.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We should all take turns to start. Marty will be next meeting.
Well, no.
Well, okay. You lucked out. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes of the meeting April 25th? Anybody have any comments, Mr. Rollinger?
You've been identified.
Seriously, anybody have any comments?
I think they're very accurate.
Corrections?
Thank you, Mr. DeVoe.
Thank you. Any corrections, changes? Do we have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we go into the request and/or public hearings. Sally?
Yes, we have one item this evening that staff and the applicant is requesting that you will table. This is the rezoning of the Southwest Valley Annexation Plat 1 and Plat 2, containing a number of parcels on County Road 231. The staff and the applicant is in need of additional time to review questions that were brought up by the neighbors and by staff, and so we're working through that, and we'll be ready for the May 23rd meeting. So if we can have a motion to table to May 23rd, 2013.
Motion.
I don't think tabling requires a second, does it? And a second? We have a second for Mr. Vogel. You want to call roll?
I will.
Okay.
DeVoe?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
Probst?
Yes.
Rollinger?
Aye.
Schrader?
Yes.
And Vogel.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And I have posted the property and notified the neighbors of this tabling, so we should have some interest here in a couple of weeks.
Where specifically is that? It's at the end of West past Gray Horse?
It is past Gray Horse.
Okay,
yes.
it's where the old
Transfer station
was.
Not exactly there, but
Okay.
next to it.
in that general area.
In that general area, yes. And
Okay.
we'll go through the details. I should remind you, this is a quasi-judicial action, so if, yes, you will refrain from talking about this in the community, that is helpful.
Perhaps we can make a minor change and go from 5 to 6. Do we have any reports? None from me. From you, Sally?
Only that I have left for you on your tables the April monthly report from the planning department, and we are highlighting the upcoming Keep Woodland Park Beautiful cleanup on June 8th. That's a Saturday that they are putting together a free barbecue, and we'll be able to have lots of trash bags and litter picker-uppers to be able to clean up the community on June 8th.
Nature washed the streets down this morning.
Perfect.
Discussion and comment. Anybody have anything that's not on the agenda they'd like to talk about?
I just want to thank Sally for forwarding the DDA statement regarding TIF and other related issues. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thought that would be helpful for the
It was, thank you.
clarification from our discussion 2 weeks ago.
Does the city have any, put any pressure on the DDA and everything to help with the taxes? I mean, as far as the fire department and stuff, because that was always an issue with the DDA and the tax center.
Well, our city council is aware of the issue, and they will be working together with DDA.
That issue came up in the DDA
It's
prior to
been there a long time.
That piece of property even getting down the road very far, and the fire department and the ambulance department came to the DDA meeting about that. The issue was inclusion. It wasn't about the original design or the original boundaries of the DDA, because all 5 entities signed off on that when that originally took place, and they knew they were signing off for 28 years when that took place. What happened was we added that piece of property when that project came before us and came before that. It really was more of an oversight than anything else in missing the fact that they had nothing to gain as far as the fire department and the ambulance by the improvement of that. When you do something like that, the county gains on sales tax, city gains on sales tax, state gains on sales tax, because that's the original theory of it. But those 2 entities lose money. So if somebody would go back and review the open session recordings, you would find in there that we agreed from that point forward that we would adjust that very favorably for those folks in both the ambulance and fire to allow for that. Now, the letter you received that Dale Schnichter wrote, he wrote that. There's no DDA signatures on it. And I read that just like it was sent out. It's a bit ambiguous, I think. I think it doesn't say a whole lot in the fact of being very specific about the fact that those folks would be made just about whole on that, and that's what the council's got to work out, I believe. But that was all discussed a long time ago and agreed to a long time ago. That was before the annexation of Womack Ministries. And when that first became an idea out there, that was all addressed. And I think pretty much to their satisfaction, especially the fire department. As I say, both of them were there. I had a long conversation with Tim, with the ambulance district earlier this week, and he felt comfortable with what's going forward. They're going to pursue some other avenues for income, only because of what the changes are going to take place in the healthcare area. They're just going to lose more money,
Right.
unless they do something with that. So I told him I'd support him on that as an individual to do that. So I hope the city council and I'm sure that Brian Fleer is working on that. But I don't see a real problem, because the DDA at that time, and there's been a couple changes on it, I don't think anybody will be in disagreement to do that.
Because I remember when that was all going on, and I had talked to Jim Heenan at length about, hey, you need to make sure that the fire department's going to get some of this revenue, because you're going to be expected to provide our service for them. And it didn't happen the way
Well,
quite.
it would have made it worse. It would take revenue away from them by putting that within the DDA, and they'd lose all the sales, not property tax on that. They would actually come up net loss, and so would ambulance on that. But the DDA in the minutes somewhere approved doing that, and Dale would be the one who, I'm sure he's talked to Brian about that. But he sent out a letter that kind of was a overview of what that was all
I
about.
got the letter. Thank you.
Too much knowledge, I know. I'm sorry. Anybody else have any other questions?
I had one question. I've been thinking about the lady who was here. She lives in the county, and the issue was what about the water erosion, etc. Do you happen to know whether she talked to Bill, and is she now satisfied, or can you give us an update?
I haven't had any direct communication with Mrs. Griffin since she was here a couple weeks ago, but I do know that she made contact with both the utilities director, Kip Wiley,
Mm-hmm.
and with Bill.
Oh, good, thank you.
Anybody else?
We have to look out for our senior citizens.
Thank you, Tom.
We'll be looking for a motion then to adjourn and go into an abbreviated work session.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
You want to just, everybody in favor, signify by saying aye.